Hello guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures. And today, we've gone through another month, so we go through another dev diary. So this dev diary for Prehistoric Kingdom will be for March 2025. So let's have a really cool look at this one. So you can see we've got quite a few babies today. So, welcome to March Development Diary. This month, we've released our trailer for Update 14, showing off a variety of baby animals coming in this update, or coming to the game. This update will be arriving April 24th, with the public testing branch coming to Steam on April 2nd. So if you want to do the testing, it's going to be up there pretty soon. It is pretty cool. As always, the public testing branch version is intended to catch various issues and get feedback on new features. Not all animals will have ontogeny, and the content itself will be at various stages of completion, lacking sounds, animations, skins, and other things. So have a look at the, as you can see, the state development trailer as well. So it's officially 24 days until Update 14 is properly released, and yet all of the features are effectively done. For the next few weeks, it's a matter of finishing the content, polishing, bug fixing, and making various tweaks to get this update exactly where we want it. So while there's a list of changes we've been working on until release, one of our favorites is an expansion of our animal thumbnails, with an aim to introduce renders of babies, sexual dimorphism, and genetic mutations, so things like albinism. Especially with ontogeny, this is going to make it a lot easier to find specific animals. It also works in the animal holder, so you know if you'll have albino before it's even in the park. So that's quite a cool one there. So you can see these different ones here. Let's hope it loads. There we are. So you can see T-Rex young'un. There's a young'un with melanism. And you can see the different colors there. So different skins, and you can see the same with the Triceratops. 3 babies, one with albinism and the other one's fine. So that's quite cool. It'd be cool to have sexual dimorphism as well. So that's quite cool. Update 14 though, this is what everyone kind of wants to see. We've got the baby animals. So it's a new month, so it must be time to show off more baby animals that you always love to see. Today we'll be sharing a bunch of our from our Discord, starting with the highly requested Spinosaurus. So these tiny crocosaurs lack many of the features found in the adult versions, such as the giant sails or the tail crests, which is quite interesting. So you can see a little bit more leaner and meaner. Adorably, they even more either move around with their tails raised, demonstrating how much nimble the young ones are. So you can see this is one of the younger ones. Let's see if it loads. We'll wait and have a look at that afterwards. It's just, internet being internet today. We'll just let it run its course. Don't know what's happened with that today. Hopefully it loads at a good time. I might just actually skip through this. No, we won't. We'll just keep going. Just hope it loads. But you can see here there's probably mum and dad, and you can see the baby here. It doesn't have quite the big sail or the huge tail that the parents do, but you can see it's still quite cute. Definitely a big fan. And then you can see this cute little gif going on. Don't know if there's any sound. Doubt there is. But you can see him running around in there and going for a swim. That's bloody adorable. Running around, much more nimble as a young'un. Really fits quite well. Definitely a big fan of that. Also, the sauropodlets, which is the official name for baby sauropods, for Camarasaurus grandis. However, that is grandis. However, what you might expect. With proportionally shorter necks and softer features, these babies sport similar colorations to adults, with banded faces and more abundant patterning. So you'll see it, again. So you can see probably the parents there. Don't know what's up with this today, but we'll work through it. It's all good. And you can see the lovely scale work. There's good opportunity to appreciate that. And then you can see the little babies there. Definitely got much rounder features, bigger eyes, standard of babies, rounder features, shorter proportions to look real cute and all that. And then you can see it's also got much more, strong patterning there. Looks quite cool and quite long, lanky legs. That hasn't quite grown into them yet, which is quite cute. Next up is Ankylosaurus, which has to be one of our favorites. Despite their size, these grumbles are still miniature tanks, though that entire Inconic tail club hasn't grown in yet. Also, one of the few species that we'd like to create a baby-specific sculpt for, removing various wrinkles and smoothing out their osteoderms. So keep an eye on that in the future. So this one will be changing a little bit, but you can see still how very cute it is. I do love myself a little baby Ankh. Ankh are really, really cute. I do think it would be cool if it did get a special sculpt, because I think it would deserve it, especially with the osteoderms it needs, because a lot of those osteoderms are believed to not have really fused until they got a little bit older, so they'd have a really point of being real little softies. But yeah, look at this little guy. Absolutely adorable little man. So next up as well, we got Plateosaurus gracilis, which is another favourite of ours. With the adults having clown-like faces, we wanted to make the juveniles equally bold. Their colour and cream patterns invoke a similar fight to the adults and make us slightly hungry too, which makes complete sense. Cookies and cream. I do love some cookies and cream, but you can see that the adults with almost like their clown colours. With the orange on the cheeks and then there, and then you see the babies a little bit just black and white, and with those big eyes. Looks really, really cute. Definitely love the cookies and creams vibe. Really, really adorable little guys. Definitely a big fan. You can see the different colours to them as well. Looks bloody amazing. It really, really does. And then finally, we have here the Cynotherium. So like its modern relatives, the horn on this baby is yet to grow in. So it comes as like a small kind of little bulb there. But yeah, this is the kind of the cool hot weather version of Elasmotherium. So you can see it's got that more typical rhino skin to it, and the baby's more typical rhino as well. So you can see that is quite cute. So we'll have a look at that little guy. How absolutely adorbs is that little guy right there? And we're definitely a big fan. Amazing. Anyway, we'll carry on. So animal herding and social groups is another big one. That's right, animal herding is coming to update 14. Surprise! You thought it was in the next update, but we actually snuck it in for this one, so that's a bit sneaky. So how does it work? Animals that are adolescents or older will be eligible to join a social group. At random, the pack will pick a group leader, or the game will pick a group leader, allowing them to decide where the herd will go and what they'll do. For example, if the group leader decides to rest or drink, herd members will follow and attempt the same things. This level of herd cohesion is something that we can vary between species, making some animals like Dryosaurus very tightly knit, or while Paratirexes will be more independent from each other. That's kind of another thing they'll do. So you can see herd of Apatosaurs right there of different ages. You can see one's a bit darker, but you can see some younger ones and older ones. That's quite cool. I like that. So to check if your animals are in a social group, we've added a new tab to the animal information panel. Here you can find the group leader, group members, and how many babies associated with that group. So that's another good one there. So you can see mum and dad, babies, adults, and adolescents. You see everyone's above the baby there. So 3 adults and a couple babies. So that's cool. That's her there. So you can see flickers out babies. So there's no babies in there, but look at that little cutie there. Does deserve a good home. Also, adoptive parenting, so that's really cool. So rather than taking up slots in a social group, baby animals are instead adopted by adults, creating a more realistic herd structure. So within these new family units, babies will follow their parents until reaching adolescence, eventually disbanding to find their proper social group. And when growing up, though, they will do their best to stick near an adult, and it is pretty cute to watch them cluster near an adult. So that'll be cool for species that especially want to hang around mum. Which is quite cute, but I imagine some species, like the sauropodlets, they'll just kind of want to go off to do their own thing. But yeah, it looks really, really cute. Really, really cute. Definitely nice to see some babies. I really do love them. There's a non-final thumbnail renders though, so they're not the final ones. In the case that babies cannot find an adult, oh no, they'll cleverly form their own clutch following a leader, much like a regular social group. So if you just have a bunch of babies, it'll be fine. Then we've got another one here, animal awareness and socialization. So finally, we've implemented the first version of animal awareness. In this update, animals will be able to speak to one another, offering a call and response. They'll prioritize group members, but occasionally call to other species or animals outside their group. This behavior can only happen if the animal can see or hear each other. Animals will also use sad calls when they have unmet needs, or if their welfare is really low, they tell to angry bellow. So for our fearsome Leelanosaura, these kind of sound like, more just angry rats. Let's have a look here. So this is let's see if we can actually. So that's normal. What's that? I don't know what's up with the internet. That is Dad distressed with bad welfare. He's angry. I quite like that because it also gives you a visual cue. So, if something's wrong, or you're like going through the park and you hear that, it's like, oh, there's something wrong over there. So I think that works as well. But in the future, we want to introduce look targets and head IK that will allow animals to look at each other, making it all the more obvious who they're talking to. We also want to reuse the sad or angry calls as a way for animals to react to each other, i.e. get away from my herd. So it's a cool thing to really just have more animals being aware of things. But yeah, next up as well, we've got here, so all together now, you probably want to see this in action, so we've prepared a short video showcase showing a couple species in different scenarios. In this video, you can see a glimpse of animal locomotion version 3, an update focusing on smoothing out movements and adding a trot animation for every animal. It's still very much a work in progress, so we hope to improve it more by April 24th. So this is the one, so we'll have a look there. Little baby's following, that's so cute. You can see they're all herding together, same with the Paraceratherium. That's really cute. You see the Coelophysis all hanging out together. And Dryosaurus doing the same. That's cool. It's just really nice, personally, just to see a lot of, really cool interactions with each other and things like that. I think that's quite cool. And just, like, most games when they have herding, it's very much, like, even Planet Zoo, sometimes they just move in a straight line together. So let's have something a little bit more dynamic and interactive. But we're going to move on. Next up, we've got the next update. So since we've managed to sneak herding into Update 14, what is planned for Update 15? So, while we can't get too specific just yet, our goals is to further enhance the animals with new behavior and animations to make them even more lively. So that seems to be, it's going to be a really cool update, Update 15. Notably, this includes expanding the social and herding behaviors and featuring a more dynamic social hierarchy that'll include things like threat displays. There's a lot we can do, and we're excited to finally begin exploring that side of Prehistoric Kingdom, because the animals are there, what we want in the day, and, they're very, very interesting and to talk about there. With that said, there is a new species coming, and there's a new species on the horizon, and they're flocking this way. It's everyone's favorite chicken mimic, the Gallimimus. So let's have a look at the Gallimimus. So this is the first skin, very reminiscent of the old PK days. I love seeing Gallimimus, and it's nice to get a bit of an update. I really like this one here, the males. This reminds me of the Bali Minor. That's a really cool one there, and that looks quite cool. I like the extra bit of fur at the back. Oh, feathers at the back there. I really like this one. This one's quite cool with the curved, kind of face there. That one's awesome in the bright colors. That looks quite nice. Honestly, I think they're all pretty good. I really like the feathers on these extra ones. It really gives them all something distinct. So, although the first Ornithomimid in early access may have been Deinocheirus, Gallimimus has an even longer history in Prehistoric Kingdom, namely for being part of our first 2 demos ever. It's certainly been a while, but we're overjoyed to see Gallimimus finally come home. We've missed you. So I remember playing this 2015 demo. I remember it used to be just the one Gallimimus you'd release, and then the other one would just not work. It was only the one working, and in the 2017 demo, I remember that. That was quite interesting. It's nice. That makes me very nostalgic, and you can see how ugly that was back in the day. But luckily, Prehistoric Kingdom's really created some awesome things now. But we're going to move on. We've got Paleobotany as well. So Paleobotany will be coming for Update 15. Let's take a look at even more Paleobotany arriving in Update 15. Below, you'll find the last few foliage species coming to the scrubland biome. This includes a relative of the monkey puzzle tree, the Aracasia or something like that. So you can see that there. One of the many different species of monkey puzzle tree there. Looks really, really cool. Fits right into, the prehistoric times as well. Wasters of Claudus, that's another really cool one there. Another really cool type of tree that we get to look at. Another one there. When you combine all the scrubland parts together, you get a pretty cool environment. What I was missing is a Stegosaurus hiding around those cycads. So this is a mixed one there. This actually looks like something straight out of the Morrison. Looks pretty spot on. Nice to see some paleo plants. They always go so good together. Let's have a look. Just wait for this one. There we are. And with so we've got some other as well. With scrubland out of the way, our attention turns to a different type of land, the wetland. And for this biome, we have a lot of plants that tend to sit in shallow waters or on the top of the surface. So you got Hydropteris, that one there. There's a really nice one there. Maricella. Looks like very duckweedy types. It looks quite good. Neolumba, certain types of water lilies. Polarexa, I believe say that. Ruxa. Another really cool one there. And Cabaria. We've got all those water type plants. In addition, the water-based plants above, we're going to have giant horsetails. We always love that. This plant is quite a bit larger than its modern counterpart that's currently in game. Think of somewhere between reeds and bamboo. So this is like the famous one. You always see it back in. These guys were basically like the superfood for dinosaurs. This brings us to our final plant for today. It is a peculiar one. It's neither a palm nor a mangrove. It's actually a fern. So this is actually a type of fern, which is really interesting, and we hope you love it too. It's called Willachella. So another really interesting plant there. Very, very cool. Hope you get some of those like scale trees, like from the Carboniferous. That would be a really awesome one. I think we might have them. But then we got also update 16. So the next update. So a new terrarium species. So to close out this dev diary, we have a new terrarium species to share with you. Meet the adorable Cymosuchus, a tiny crocodilian from the late Cretaceous. This armored pug is believed to have been a herbivore due to its short snout and unique teeth. We still suggest keeping your hands away from its mouth, though they are quite nippy. That makes sense. There's another cool little terrarium animal. We always love the pug croc from Madagascar. Goes good with Majungasaurus and all of those guys. If you've seen Prehistoric Planet, what these guys look like and what these guys are. And make them kind of cute. They already are kind of cute. I think they're very, very cute. But yeah, I think this is a cool one for today. Got to see all the babies. Love seeing more babies. And then also, got these cool calls and stuff in the herding. I think that's really going to bring the dinosaurs to life as well. Nice to see some new species. Nice to see Gallimimus coming back. Always love to see more paleo plants. And then we've got Cymosuchus, a new terrarium animal, coming from update 16. Which is cool. And there comes the dog. Let's go. We'll have a look at first the community spotlight. So you can see done by W3. We got this really cool picture of a baby Camarasaurus with parents. This really cool one, making prehistory, Dilophosaurus. So I quite like this one. We'll actually just look at it here, but you can see that quite a nice sketch there. A little bit of information as well by Assassin Spino. This one's done by W3 as well. You can see that's Mama Spino and Angry Baby, who's literally just the same, which is quite funny. And I like this one called Akam, which has done this one here. Really nice enclosure. Looks really, really good. Don't know who it's for, but it looks quite cool. Can't see who it is for. But still a really nice enclosure. But yeah, thank you for reading March's Dev Diary. To recap, Update 14's public testing branch is on April 2nd, with the actual update coming out April 24th. Hope you're excited to play and finally play it and await your feedback. So yeah, that'll be quite awesome. But yeah, really, really awesome update so far. Nothing too extraordinary like the last few times, but otherwise I love seeing the babies and everything. Haven't got too much to say on it, I really, really do. Just excited to see some of these really cool designs and things coming. Really big fan. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. Always remember to hit the little bell icon to get notified about anything. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and bye bye.